Folks, today I'm going to be talking about team cohesion and why that's so important for you as a leader, not only in business, but also at home. So you, as a leader, you lead a group of people or a number of individuals at work. And your role as a leader is to ensure that that group is actually working towards something positive or making progress or achieving a goal. And at home, we call that team your family. And your family should also be team as well. So team cohesion is very important for not only your team at work, but also your team at home. And what is team cohesion? Team cohesion is simply the glue within the team, the glue that holds the team together to really achieve the things that they want to achieve or need to achieve. And hence why we call it cohesion. And leaders who have teams that don't have the strong cohesion have conflict, significant amount of conflict within the team. They have distractions within the team. They lack the level of performance that is required from a synchronization perspective. So when people might be individual team performers from a high performance perspective, but they might not come together and gel together as a team. And that comes from team cohesion. Now, the reason why I'm just going to generalize team cohesion as a glue and generalize it is because there's two types of team cohesion. And this is something that's very important for us to understand as leaders. There's what we call task cohesion, and then there's social cohesion. So task cohesion is how well the team comes together to achieve a particular task or goal. So essentially, they're coming together to get the job done. That's task cohesion. And there's teams out there that are really great at task cohesion. So they come together, they work together, they get the job done. On the other side, there's what we call social cohesion. And that is the glue that brings people together from a social perspective. So let's just say if they didn't have a task or they didn't have a goal, would these people like to hang out with each other? Would these people like to work together? Would they like to associate with each other? The social relationships within these individuals is what we call the social cohesion. So as leaders, we need to understand that, yes, there's two types. People can come together as a team and work towards a particular goal and task. That's team cohesion and do very well from that perspective. And then there's the other side where it's nothing to do about the task or the goal, but these people come together from a social perspective, and that is social cohesion. And to have a high-performing team, it is ideal to have both. Can you have a high-performing team without task cohesion? The answer is no, absolutely not. Can you have a high-performing team without social cohesion? You can, but it's not the best scenario. And there's a number of reasons why, and I'm going to share them here in a little bit. But yes, you can have a group of people that comes together for a task and to achieve a goal or to achieve a project or to achieve particular targets like a sales targets that you've given, perhaps a division or a department. But that doesn't mean that those people are going to be at the highest level of potential and performance. That's where social cohesion comes into play, where people have a vested interest in each other. Outside of just, hey, let's get the job done, it's about, I want to see the other person succeed as well. I have a relationship with the other people on my team, and I just want them to do better and be able to contribute to their future success. That's social cohesion. And so what we need to take a look at is in this environment, and I think this is a very important conversation, particularly around virtual teams, because there's this conception or this belief that virtual teams are just as effective as in-person teams. I can say in a lot of cases, they are not. So hands down, virtual teams are not as effective as teams who come together physically in person. To what degree? Those studies still need to be done. But virtual teams are missing out on one particular thing, which is a social cohesion. So when you bring people together in a physical environment and you hang out with each other and do things like the traditional team building events, outside of just the actual work itself, you build those connections. You build that social cohesion. In a virtual setting, that doesn't happen. So out of the two types of cohesion, virtual teams are missing out on the social aspect, which is very important, not only from a performance piece, but let's talk about retention. One of the reasons why people remain within an organization or keep their jobs is because of the social interactions that they have, the social relationships. This has been shown through studies over and over again. So if a person is on a virtual team and they don't have strong social cohesion, they're more likely to leave. And this is one of the challenges that we're seeing in organizations. In fact, both in Canada and the US, where CEOs say that one of their top challenges are the people challenges. That's been pretty consistent throughout time. But out of the people challenges, the top two are retention and engagement. And to have retention and engagement, you need to have social cohesion. Absolutely. It's almost a prerequisite for people to have good relationships and cohesion with the other people within their team or their organization. So if you are having people, or you have people that, or there's a high turnover rate where people are dropping like flies, or people are leaving the team, or people are not as engaged, you may be focusing on the task cohesion, but are you focusing on the social cohesion? Okay, so that is something to take a look at. On another note, one of the things that can help team cohesion as a whole, more from the task cohesion perspective, is for the team to perform. So there's this, you can say the chicken versus the egg concept, which is, does a team who has strong team cohesion perform better, or does a team that performs better have better team cohesion? And the answer is both. It's a cyclical effect. When a team performs, they create greater team cohesion, particularly the task cohesion. And as a result of that, they perform better. And when teams have stronger cohesion, both task cohesion and social cohesion, they perform better as well. So there's a cyclical effect here. So how do you create team cohesion is a question that you may be asking yourself. Well, one of the ways is to get your team to win, because when they win, or you enable them to win, even small wins, and this is important, it's not the long-term objective wins, it's the small wins along the way that help create task cohesion and sometimes even social cohesion. So if you want your teams to be better gel together, create small wins for them, enable them to win, and that's going to help their team cohesion, which then again is going to help them perform better as well. So let me summarize this, because this is very important. A prerequisite for a team to be high performing is team cohesion. And team cohesion has two aspects to it. Task cohesion, which is the team coming together to achieve a task or goal. And then there's social cohesion, which is the cohesion that's created by their social relationships, where people like each other, want to hang out with each other, or want to stay within the organization. And you bring these two together, and you are more likely to have a higher performing team. And when you have small wins, that helps you create greater team cohesion. All of this is kind of a cyclical effect. But the whole point here is you want to ensure that your teams have both task cohesion and social cohesion, not only at work, but also in your personal life as well, and as your family. Because in families, we typically tend to focus on social cohesion. Do we like each other? But if you really want your family to have strong cohesion, you also want to work on task cohesion at the family level. And that brings together people, or your family members, so your spouse, your kids, together to achieve a particular goal or outcome. And when you start to do that, when you start winning together as a family, you start to create more cohesion as a whole. So on the work side, we tend to focus more on the task cohesion and less on the social cohesion. On the family side, we tend to focus more on the social cohesion and less on the task cohesion. So by focusing on both, so in the business side, focusing more on the social cohesion, and on the family side, focusing more on task cohesion, you're going to have stronger team cohesion as a whole. And watch how your teams perform better. This is a very powerful thing to take a look at. When you decipher these two types of cohesions, you become that much more effective as a leader.